1. Discuss the origin of social psychology. Sociology. The term sociology was coined by Auguste Comte, who is called the father of sociology. Sociology is concerned with the study of human relationships and society. The scientific study of human existence, social interactions, social groups, and all facets of society as a whole is known as sociology. Psychology. Psychology began to take shape as a separate academic field. Psychology, in Barron's opinion, is the study of behavior and thought. Psychology places a strong emphasis on internal mental processes like perception, cognition, and emotion, as well as how these processes affect the social environment. Definition of social psychology. The social background and intra-individual interactions are ongoing, and both have mutually influencing effects. By Delamater, social psychology is the study of the interaction between these two groups of phenomena, the nature and causation of human social behavior. The focus on the thought, feeling, and behavior of a person is shaped by actual, imagined or suggested the presence of others, is how G.W. Allport describes social psychology. The following are some more definitions of social psychology. The field of social psychology is one that thoroughly examines the numerous facets of social interaction. Social psychology, according to Barron and Byrne, is the branch of psychology that studies the nature and reasons behind people's actions in social contexts. In conclusion, social psychology is the methodical examination of individuals, attitudes, motivations, and actions within a social setting. Though, what is the relationship between sociology and psychology? Similarities between sociology and psychology. Psychology and sociology have a lot in common. Both are interconnected and rely on one another. Psychology looks deeply into how people think and behave in society. It is believed that psychology illuminates the significance of the interaction between an organism and its environment as well as how the former respond to the latter. It is described as the study of man's mental life and behavior. It is the study of mental processes. Finding the rules governing human behavior and mental existence is the goal of psychology. On the other hand, sociology is the study of society. It investigates human social interactions. Psychology, according to Taulis, is the positive science of human experience and behavior. Because psychology studies individual behavior, sociology investigates society. Consequently, there are parallels between sociology and psychology. Both are thought of as being good science. These two fields are closely related and share a lot in common. Without a sufficient understanding of human psychology, it is challenging to comprehend how people interact and behave. Similar to how many psychological realities would be incomprehensible without a thorough understanding of social interactions, behavior, and activities. It serves no purpose to emphasize how important it is that sociological trends support psychology and that psychology benefits from sociology. In other words, they cannot exist without one another. In this way, sociology and psychology are closely tied to one another. Differences between sociology and psychology. Although the two disciplines are interdependent, they differ from each other in certain respects. 1. Psychology is concerned with the human mind whereas sociology is concerned with it as a whole. Though the methods used by sociology and psychology are not identical, both disciplines, therefore, differ from each other in respect of methods. 10. The psychologist focuses his attention on the individual while the sociologist is preoccupied with society as a whole. Therefore, the individual is regarded as the unit of psychology and society is regarded as the unit of sociology. 10. Explain the scope and nature of social psychology. Scope of social psychology. As previously said, social psychology analyses how people behave in social situations. Social psychology makes an effort to understand the connection between a person's mind and mental processes both in a group setting and when they are alone. One of social psychology's most crucial goals is to learn more about the causes of human behavior. This area of research on relationships includes both small and large group studies of people. Also, Delamater thinks that the essential issue in social psychology is the impact of one individual on another, the impact of a group on its members, the impact of individuals on the group in which they participate, and the impact of one group on another. The social environment and the individual are interdependent. One could therefore claim that social psychology seeks to provide a detailed understanding of the social and psychological analysis of the life cycle, socialization, social networks, group dynamics, stigma and stereotyping, and social stratification are the key research areas in sociological social psychology. Every stage of life is influenced by existing social norms, values, faiths, and practices. For instance, different societies have varied approaches to raising children, which in turn affects people differently psychologically. In light of social variety, social psychologists are increasingly adopting multicultural opinions that take into account the potential importance of class, gender, ethnicity, age, sexual orientation, disability, religious beliefs, and many other social and cultural facets. Nature of social psychology. The wide range of subjects that social psychology addresses are approached scientifically. There are several logical justifications and literary works that inform us about interpersonal relations, including love, jealousy, violence, generosity, and the functions of individuals in organizations. The method used by a social psychologist differs from others. It uses scientific techniques, but in all of them, a fundamental three-step approach has been used. I. The collection of carefully made observations. Careful observation requires the gathering of information about issues and processes of interest, plus an attitude of skepticism. E. The ordered integration of these observations and the statement of general principles. E. The use of these general principles to predict future observations. 4. How would you define your role in society using any of the sociological perspectives in social psychology? The function of society and its effects on a person's daily life can be studied in a variety of ways. Depending on your interests, you might concentrate on the area around you or try to comprehend how bigger social issues have an impact. To explain behavior across societies, time, and geography, sociological social psychologists strive to provide both general and specific explanations. Symbolic interactionism. Symbolic interactionism considers how self and society interact to shape numerous social processes. One of the key figures in the development of symbolic interactionist viewpoints in the field of sociology was George Herbert Mead. Mead maintained that interpersonal connection is what produces meaning in his book Mind, Self, and Society from the standpoint of a social behaviorist. A preoccupation with language and the construction of meaning is the root of symbolic interactionism. It focuses on the specifics of interpersonal contact and how those specifics are used to interpret what others say and do. Everything in the world has significance because of language and symbols. The interaction could be described as the reciprocal impact of individuals upon another's action when in one another's near physical presence. As a result, symbolic interactionism holds that society is a web of communication or interaction in which people interpret their daily lives in light of one another's viewpoints. The collective ideas and visuals depict people as active, creative thinkers who act and participate in their surroundings to make sense of them rather than as passive recipients of environmental stimuli. The symbolic interactionist approach to social psychology emphasizes structural relationships, organizational characteristics of social contexts, and generalized expectations or norms that influence behavior. Social structure and personality. Social structure and personality perspective is concerned with connections between larger societal events, conditions and their influence on the individuals. More specifically, it means the influence of social structure on individuals. Social structure and personality perspective assume that our position in the social structure is dictated by some larger social processes to some degree, as we are expected to think, feel and behave in certain ways which correspond to the existing social norms. For instance, Karl Marx believed that the economic system we live in affects both our social relations and individual thinking process. Group processes. This sociological social psychology viewpoint emphasizes how fundamental social processes work in a group setting. One of the most crucial aspects of social interaction is the group, and sociology and psychology both devote significant time and effort to examining and comprehending group behavior. The theoretical description of primary and secondary groups was provided by Cooley. Primary groups are ones where members have intimate interactions and face-to-face communication, such as family and friends. According to Cooley, primary and secondary groups develop different kinds of interactions with one another. The group processes perspective aims to analyze how people interact and hold positions both within and outside of social organizations. When analyzing group behavior, status and roles become crucial. You must have noticed that some of your friends speak more, express their opinions more frequently, and take the initiative. By methodically investigating the social context in which a group is positioned, a social psychologist is interested in finding the answers to these kinds of problems. The table compares the three sociological psychology views. What are the main objectives of research in social psychology? As mentioned earlier, social psychology focuses on the analysis of an individual's behavior towards others as well as the social environment. The main objectives of social psychology research could be classified under the following headings. 1. Observation and description. One of the main objectives of social psychology is the study of observing and describing social behavior under different circumstances in a systematic manner so that possible, reliable generalizations could be drawn from a large population. Though cause and effect relationship, all the studies based on the scientific method seek to establish a cause and effect relationship between different variables. The social psychologist attempts to analyze the effect of changes in social institutions such as values, culture, and tradition on human behavior. For example, does the provision of free and compulsory education until the elementary level have any impact on the attitudes of parents towards girls' education? 3. Proposing a new theory. One of the objectives of social psychology is to propose a new theory based on the causal analyses of social behavior to explain and understand why human beings under particular situations behave the way they do. 4. Application. The knowledge gained from the above efforts could be used to suggest possible solutions for some of the problems faced by individuals in their everyday lives.